I wanted to help you with a couple of ones you missed on section 1.2 so that you'll know how to do them for the quiz. This is 1.2 number 4, and this is the problem that you missed. And what you missed were signs. So I'm hoping that you have your work written down and you can look back and compare your work to my work and see where the mistake was. Since this is not a 1, to factor it, I multiply this 5 times this -2 and get -10. Then I copy the B term, that -9, right here. So I have to find two numbers that I can multiply to get -10 and add to get -9, which is a -10 and a +1. If you multiply those, you get -10. If you add them, you get -9. So I'm now going to copy the 5x squared. And instead of this -9x, I'm going to replace it with these two. -10x plus 1x. And then I'm going to copy the -2. And to factor by grouping, we look at these first two terms to see what's common, and it's a 5x. Then I copy that x minus 2 down here so that it looks just like that, and then I ask to put here, what do I multiply this by to get these two? Well, they're exactly the same, so I would multiply by +1. Now what's common is an x minus 2, and my other factor is a 5x plus 1. And then I set each of those equal to 0. So here I add 2. And here I subtract 1. Then I divide by 5. So my answers are 2 and -1/5. Oh, I'm sorry, you couldn't see that. Let me move that on up a little bit. Here's the final part, and my answers are 2 and -1/5. So that's solving by factoring. Then I noticed you missed a problem on the quadratic formula. I think maybe you ran out of time. You didn't answer this one. So it's the opposite of b, which is a +6, plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c all over 2 times a. So that's 36, -6 squared. And this is also 36. So you get the square root of 0. Well, the square root of 0 is just 0. So you have 6 over 18, which becomes 1/3. And that's your answer to that problem. The problem where the answers were -15 and 15, and you missed it because you put it in parentheses, I went back and gave you credit for that one. And then there was a problem, I believe I'm right, that it was -1 plus the square root of 7, -1 minus the square root of 7. And what happened on that one is that when you type this in, you've got to click out of that square root so it'll stop putting the square root. Your answer had this square root extended all the way over, which that's the reason you missed it. But I could see from this and this that your answer was right, so I went back and gave you credit for that one. So I'm trying to help you learn from your mistakes. I really wish that you had tuned in last night at 6 so that I could have helped you some with this, so that you could have gotten them right today. But anyway, maybe next time when we have a Zoom session, you'll be able to tune in with us. So hopefully those two will help you a little bit to be ready for the quiz.